Folks, I regret to inform you that this may be our very last Lupinranger versus Patranger unboxing video. I hope that you're able to come to terms with that, because this has been a fun series, and these two mecha might just be the last thing we have to show for it. There are some exclusive ones that are like tiny little version repaints and magazines, you know, but they're not part of the show. These are the last two main mecha. We have ourselves Siren Striker, I'll get it right, I have a 50-50 chance, and Victory Striker. So the interesting thing is that we don't have any like giant final mecha with Lupinranger, Patranger. We just have two more middle pieces that use the same two newer arms that we got recently, the Splash and the Magic. So we've really gone an entire series with the same core, good striker, as the core of every single mecha combination that there is. Which does mean that they're very limited with how many combinations they can show at once without reusing things. Sorry, I got a little tickle in my throat. There was an episode recently where they, like, you know, just used the magic to make, like, show 5 different variants at the same time, blah, blah, blah. But really, this is all we got left. And for those of you who don't know, when I record this video, yesterday is when we got our first images of the next series, Ryu Soldier, which looks a lot like Kyoryuger design-wise. So we're back to dinosaurs, which means, you know, it's time to usher Lupin and Pat out the door. We're already in episode like 43, something like that. So yeah, we're almost done. But that's enough of me talking. I just want to show you these. Show these two. See, they got similar boxes. Got the red and the blue variants. Little pictures of them combining on the sides. Their little specs. I kind of like how Sentai always has like specs, you know, where it gives you like the length and the width and the height of the mecha in, you know, in quote unquote real life. And in the back it just shows you the combinations again. And as you can see from these pictures, the other interesting thing is that, boy, they've just forgotten about Patranger. They haven't gotten a new mecha in forever, and now we have the final two and their special armor for Lupin Red and Lupin X. So, you know, Ichigo from Patranger gets nothing, and he doesn't even wear his armor when he's in the gold mode, the Pat mode for his costume. So they're real. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're right. Lupinranger is better, but you know, I'd feel bad if I was a Patranger fan. Anyway, we're gonna crack these bad boys open. We're gonna start with Siren first, Siren Striker, because this is the one that was used in the show first. So I'm just going to go based off of that. Ooh, he is in there. Oh man, this is like the other ones where it's not even taped. The cardboard is glued together, so I really got to give it the old effort to pop that bad boy out. And you know, I like to stay neat. Open him up. Alright, check him out. Big deal. Digging it. And this is like, okay, like straight up, even though this is used for the Lupin form, like, it's a trigger machine. It's got the trigger. It should be busted out by Patranger. Maybe they'll let Ichigo use it by the end of the series. That'd be nice. I think he deserves that. Yes, it's kind of got a dark navy blue design, which is nice. As far as what other modes, you can pop the cannon up like so. Let's see. Oh, then you can fold these over, so it's kind of like a loader sort of deal. I dig all the cannons. I'm a big fan of the giant cannons. I've always liked those designs on mecha. So, much love for the cannons. Yeah, and it's even number 7, right? See, it's number 7. This is definitely this is all trigger machine all the day. Now, as far as usefulness, let's quickly fold this back up. And let's try it right here. Oops. That's right. I gotta put it together or else it pops out. So you heard it said Cho Keisatsu change, which basically means super police change. Gotta get that Cho. That's kind of a weird sound at the very end. It's like a fast sound, even though it's a giant friggin' tank, basically. But yeah, so it's a Pat change. Everything about this is a Patranger mecha, which makes it extra weird that not only is it not used by Ichigo, but it's used by X when he's in his Lupin form. So, but again, series isn't over. We could add some changes. So I'm going to combine it with this version. This is the one we use on the show. Again, like I mentioned earlier, we've got the, wait, should these be up? Well, no, yeah, these are supposed to be down. Okay, so we've got the Lupin version of Goody Striker, and then we've got Splash and Magic on the arms, because these are the ones that are, this is the base form for a lot of the final combinations. So, as far as this, pop it back out like so. See, that's the whole thing with the trigger is, pop it out. Anyway, so, they want me to fold the front down. There you go, you can see the head right away. Fold these parts back down. Fold the treads forward. And that's about it. Let me make sure that it looks like this. Yep, that's the way you're supposed to put it on. So then the same little connector piece in the middle. And then the tread, let's see, yeah. Okay, so then this just sits in the front, like so. Do they want me to, oh, they want me to put the cannon up too. Well, I really like that design. I think also that the dark blues and the reds kind of go with the other two arms a little bit better than some of the previous combinations. And it's just got kind of like a heavy feel to it, you know, with the giant cannons. Shoulder cannons are amazing. Always a big fan of that. Front forward. So this is the, what's it called? Siren, Lupin, Kaiser, I believe is the name of this combination. Siren, Lupin, Kaiser. So yeah, I dig it. You know, obviously practically these being here wouldn't be good for, you know, to actually walk around and move, but it's just a very nice design. I think it gives it a fairly unique look. So we're going to set him aside for now, and we are going to bust out our final mecha. This is Victory. Victory. Dial trigger Victory. This is also weird, like, this is like a friggin' like jumbo jet type of deal or something, and it's called Victory. Why don't you just call it jet or whatever, or plane, I don't know. And just like this one, this is like a friggin' blimp looking deal or whatever, and they call it Magic. I mean, yes, it does magic tricks, but like, why are you so afraid to give these planes plane-related names? I don't know. That's just a random musing on my part. Please pay no attention to the man unboxing the children's toys. Come on. All right. Here we go. Oh. Got side pieces here. Not that kind of side piece. Ladies. So, yep. Pop that back in. We'll set this over here. Let's just open up our bonus pieces. These are our wings. Black ship. Let's see. Fold that in. Okay, so this definitely has less heft than that one. This actually feels almost like too light in some ways. Like, I'm actually surprised at how light it is. So it's a cool looking design. Like I love the, like, for once, I'm not hating on the black and gold. Even though this gold is more of the, sort of like the dull bronze gold, where it's not really a shiny gold, but it still looks nice. And I think that's because the gold parts of this one are all the movable plastic, the lighter plastic. Well, here it's more like a solid built-in design, the places where they painted it gold. Anyway, so you got this. Yeah, put it together like so. And then much like how the trigger pops that one open, the dial pops that open too. So it ends up being like a giant laser gun there in the front. So we will get us some sounds, shall we? Very cool. Super Ranger. See how they say super with the Lupins and they're the English, and they go with the Japanese Cho with the Pat. So different cool things, yeah. But definitely the Lupinrangers tend to favor English. Nice. And it has some really cool music too there during the first bit. I really dug that. I'm much more like a kind of jazzy sort of deal. Very big fan of that. All right, let's see how this goes. So you take the tail part off, and it actually becomes a helmet for this part. So we will pop it open, fold it down. Oh, see, yeah, it's got a spring there too. I like that. Alright. So I'll put that in the middle, and then I will pop this on, like so. It's a nice little crown. And that's it for this one as well. So you just pop this off. Very simple. You know, these changes look nice, but there isn't really a ton to them when you get down to it. Again, just you put it on the little middle peg and you're good to go. And there we go. All right, so I like this combination as well. I really love the whole crown design up front. It's, you know, it's kind of got like a Star Screamy vibe to it, where it actually looks very big, very important. I don't know if the colors go as well. The biggest issue is that a lot of the red on the plane, if you can notice, is more of a maroon, as opposed to like the red arm and the red base. It's basically like putting Shane and Hunter next to each other in Ninja Storm, for those, you know, who need a frame of reference, where it's like they're both red. They don't look awful next to each other, but they still look a tiny bit off, if that makes any sense. But ultimately, I still think both of these final combinations look pretty dang cool. And even though I favor Lupinranger in pretty much everything, out of these two combinations, I actually would say that the Patranger one, which is, you know, only kind of Patranger, is the better of the two. So they're both very cool, very nice. And so to some of my thoughts, because I kind of feel like we're at that point in time where it's like, you know, the series is almost over, a couple months from being done, from going into Ryusoger. It's just that, like, so Lupinranger, Patranger has been a series that I've really enjoyed. I feel like week to week, every episode is really solid, nice character development. I love how the two Reds are finally coming together, you know, to really understand each other as characters. My biggest issue is that I still feel like the overall story wasn't as strong as it could have been. I've seen some spoilers about how Lupin Pat X's story comes in, and it's a nice sort of like final chapter, and the Lupinrangers are going to get their little resolution with Zamigo, which is going to be nice. But again, the actual character beats where these moments happen where the plot is advanced forward are so few and far between that this really is more of an episodic series. Kind of like I would say like a Deca Ranger back in the day, where it's like I can pick any episode out and be like, I really enjoy this episode, but the whole is not as great as this is, the sum of the parts is not as great as each individual one, which is something similar to what I said with Q Ranger, and I think it's been a thing with Sentai for a while now, where they've been a little more hesitant to do a full story that goes from start to finish, where they like it more where you can just pop in whenever you feel like it. Not saying Lupin Patranger is a bad series by any stretch of the imagination. It's probably actually my favorite in a while. Because when I think about Q Ranger, which I really did enjoy, Zyuohger did not enjoy, Ninja enjoyed pretty well too. Probably same sort of level as Q Ranger. ToQger, not really a fan of that either. So when you get back to it, really, Go Busters is the last series that, Kyoryuger, which I did enjoy quite a bit too. But Go Busters would probably be the last great series, I would say. This was fun, out of the last 6 or 7, half of them have been pretty decent. This is on the same level of those, half of them have not been as good. So it's fun. Like, I would never tell people not to watch this series. It also, of course, has that novelty of the 2 different teams, which I enjoy. It's just not a series that knocks it out of the park. That's all I'm saying. But again, it was a lot of fun. The mecha, same sort of thing. Individually, lots of fun little mecha. Just wish that at the end of the day I could combine them into more giant robos. Because we have plenty of mecha. We have like almost 20 little ones. So, but then again, you make them all work at the end of the day. It just doesn't, I keep saying it at the end of the day. It just doesn't really come together as well as it could. So that's going to be my finished review of these 2 mecha, of the mecha as a whole for Lupin Pat, as the series as a whole. I might do another little talk about it when it's finally over. And I kind of want to do a talk about just where Sentai is in general right now as far as story and character goes. And I think I'm probably going to do that when this series finishes up before Ryusoger starts. So I think that's going to be my next sit-down talk. But again, I don't want to keep rambling. I don't want to make this video any longer than I have to. As far as I go, there's always, Loot Crate unboxings. I hope you enjoyed my cereal video. I'm going to try to do some more of those little quirky videos as well. But as always, best things for me you can always do is the liking and the commenting, the subscribing, all that good stuff, and the sharing. Until next time, until my next unboxing, until we got more dinosaurs to play with, because Lord, we always need more dinosaurs. I am Jeremy, aka Captain Subpar, saying to you, forever and always, that I am going to be King of the Geeks. Oh yeah. Like, I don't really have anything good to show you this time. I know that's my thing. I guess maybe just closer looks at the faces. Like, that face kind of has like a Predacon vibe to that face. I really dig it. A little bit of a Predacon sort of vibe. And if you actually look at this one, he's actually wearing like a captain's hat. Aye aye, Captain. Like he's gonna fly that. He's gonna Sully Sullenberger this thing. Booyah!